You have been well trained.
No.
You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Oh, do not.
I'm not afraid.
There is no try.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Chance Cube. Nate here. This week we're doing a product review of the Parsec deck box from Cain. He was kind enough to send us a review copy of his new deck box that he's doing a Kickstarter for. So let's dig into this thing and see how it is. So first off, as you can tell, this is a wood deck box. It's really pretty looking, very good wood grain finish on it. A lot of good construction. The part that makes it unique is that it's a all-in-one storage option for Star Wars Destiny. So let's crack it open. So you first open it up and you'll have a deck tray and a dice tray level. The magnets that this comes with are super strong. It's a little hard to get it open. They're so strong, which is a great thing for durability and for safety of keeping your stuff in there and not having it spill all out. As you'll see, there's individual cuts for where your dice go. They fit really snugly in there. A little bit of room, but not enough to damage your dice or anything. So that's the first layer, and there's actually a version of this that just comes with the dice tray and the dice storage. The next layer that we have of this is actually for deck and token storage, and that's a nice layer. It has cutouts to easily get your deck out, felt lining, and room for 4 different types of tokens. So that's the inside of the deck box. Comes apart like this, goes back together really simply, holds everything, really heavy duty, isn't going to fall apart if you drop it a little bit or if it rattles around in your bag, and it's beautiful looking. So now that we had a look at the actual deck box, let's break down all the different features and components of it and see how it does. So first off, we'll go over the dice rolling tray that it comes with. As you see, it's very low profile, a little on the small side, which is not a bad thing, especially for portability and for fitting table size at a tournament. You don't want a big bulky dice tray when you're limited to your amount of space. So it also, roll in some dice, works really well. If you're going to roll in a big handful of dice, it's a little on the small side. Sometimes stuff will miss. But overall, a nice rolling area, nice size for it, especially for single characters or just re-rolling a few dice. The felt in this is well padded, and overall feels like a nice little dice rolling tray that comes in a complete package. Also, as we saw before, we have the spot for dice to go in. Not a whole lot to say about that. Great way to transport your dice. The only slight downside with this as compared to other dice storage options is you don't really have a way to hide your dice during a tournament if you care, like if you have a dice bag or some of the other options that have a cover to go over it. That's the only slight downside to this, is that you don't have a way to keep those confidential, but not a huge issue. Bunch of easy fixes, just get a piece of paper to put over them or whatever. If we look at the other side of where the dice are actually stored, we'll see that there's relief cutouts in the bottom of this so that you have extra space for your deck and your tokens. Where the token cutouts are, it's small spaces, so you can't bring an excess of tokens. For the tokens that I personally use, these damage tokens from the Star Wars card game, the room's a little tight for them. You can't really fit a lot in. As far as the FFG other tokens specifically for Destiny, perfect amount of space for them, perfect amount of room for your deck, easy to get to. Again, these are all felt lined to protect your products that you have in it. As I mentioned before, the magnets here, really heavy duty magnets, really screwed in there well. I've been taking this around for the last week or so, just in my backpack, and I haven't had anything come apart. Everything stays put where it's supposed to be, snaps together. Haven't had any issues with that. Really well-built box here. So now that we've kind of gone a little bit more in-depth, let's do an overall review of the product. So now that we've had a chance to look over the Parsec deck box, what are the overall ratings that I would give this? So first of all, we'll go over the appearance. This deck box, in the wood color that Aaron was able to send us, is beautiful. It has nice contrast in it, and on his Kickstarter page he has a bunch of different options for stains, different wood types, wood colors. So from an appearance standpoint, this is a real standout on your table. So definitely a 5 out of 5 on that front. And there's also options to get it custom engraved, all kinds of stuff. So definitely you can make your own one-of-a-kind deck box to sit down at the table and impress all your friends. Secondly is utility. Again, since this is an all-in-one deck box, I would give it a 5 out of 5 for utility. It has your dice rolling tray, dice storage, deck and token storage, all in, you know, a really small spaced container. The slight little problem is the size of the token storage areas. Again, that probably comes down to my personal preference of tokens and then being a little bit on the larger size. For most people, not an issue at all. A great product for utility, for what you get out of it, for the size. Again, I keep repeating that, but it really is a very nice product when it comes from a utility standpoint. Next up is durability. Since it's wood, you know, it can scratch a little easier, but that gives it a little bit more character. And again, this is pretty heavy-duty wood. As with all woods, the harder the wood, the more resilient it will be. There's a few of the woods that were on his Kickstarter page that are inherently softer woods, which will scratch and dent slightly easier. But you just put a little bit of varnish on that, take it right out, be good. So from a durability standpoint, this is a pretty tough box. Add in the durability of the magnets, so you can't really, you know, drop it and accidentally have your stuff spill all over the place or in your backpack. And it stands up very well from a durability standpoint. So again, 5 out of 5. Next up is value. And this is where it gets a little tricky for me to rate this. Because from a quality, from a customizability, and from a utility standpoint, this is amazing. The price point on these from the Kickstarter page is $66. Plus shipping, I believe. I'll have to double check on that. So $66 is a decent investment for something that is a deck box accessory for a card game. That being said, I value this as well worth $66 when you take into consideration what all it's replacing in your collection. If you show up with this and a playmat at a tournament, you're set. You're having to carry 2 things around. Normally, you'd have to have a deck box, something to hold your tokens, some kind of dice tray, some kind of bag to store your dice. You know, it gets to be a lot of separate items as opposed to carrying this around. The ease of portability is definitely worth a substantial amount, in my opinion. Plus, when you factor in, you know, a deck box these days runs $5 to $15 depending on what you're getting. You know, a dice bag is another, you know, $5 to $10. A tray, if you decide to use one, you know, again, in the $10 range. Same with something to store your tokens. And you're looking at spending, you know, $30 to $40 potentially for all of these separate parts. So when you add in a couple extra dollars for something of this quality, this durability, you know, the value is definitely there. So I probably would give this about a 4.5 out of 5, just because as an initial first investment, it looks like a lot, but the overall quality, style, durability, and options of this definitely mean that while you're paying more, you really are getting what you're paying for out of this product. So overall, Parsec deck box gets a thumbs up from me. It's a great little product. Please, visit Aaron's Kickstarter. We'll have more information of that in the comments on this, and we'll have a link to it on the website. But support Aaron. This product and any others that he's able to produce in the future. If they follow this one, they are a winner in my book. As always, follow the Chance Cube on YouTube, website, and may the force be with you guys.